It always comes back to boundaries. And it's not so much about saying that you shouldn't help anybody. It's that you shouldn't take other people's stuff on as your own to make it your responsibility when it's not. Because first and foremost, we are our own responsibility. This is the Energy Within podcast, all about accessing, nurturing, and building your energy and confidence so that you can get unstuck and design your life the way you want. My name is Carrie Jokala. I am your host. I am a Reiki master, a fitness instructor, a wife, a mom to 2 little boys, and this is episode 120. And this particular one is sparked by an image that I saw on Instagram. So once in a while, I'll come across something that'll make my brain start going, and oftentimes it turns into something that I feel should be talked about on the podcast. So the image itself isn't important. It's kind of, just a spiritual image, someone sitting with like some light shining from their heart towards another person, kind of like a Care Bear, but it's not a Care Bear. But it says, "Repeat after me. It is not my responsibility to heal, save, punish, or control other people." And I'm someone who tends to look at the comments and I get stuck there sometimes. And then I realize, what am I doing? I'm wasting my energy here. But I'm human, and sometimes I like to look and then I see what other people say. And most everybody was like, yes, I resonate with this. Oh my God, absolutely. But there's always one. And I'm not harping, I'm not ripping, I'm not saying anybody is wrong. I just want to offer my perspective. So the comment first, there's a couple people who end up talking with each other. And the first comment is, "But people should be helping their friends and family heal. That sounds very mean." And a response back was, "This is exactly why social media was created, to make posts such as this and to brainwash people into thinking that helping others is bad or wrong." And I understand where they're coming from, because I understand that we all naturally really want to help other people. We see someone else who's struggling, or is unhappy, or just needs help in some way, and we want to help them. We want to make things better. We want to use our gifts. We want to offer what we can to help lift people back up, make things better for them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I believe we should help each other when we're able to, when we have the means, when we have the desire to, the ability to. But what this connects to for me, and what I know this is meant to be talking about, is boundaries. It always comes back to boundaries. And it's not so much about saying that you shouldn't help anybody. It's that you shouldn't take other people's stuff on as your own to make it your responsibility when it's not. Because first and foremost, we are our own responsibility. If we look to other people to make us happy, we're never really going to be happy. It's got to be within. One of my favorite images is these 2 little, just cartoonish drawn figures, and one of them is holding a sign that I think it just says happiness. And the other person is like, "Oh my God, I've been looking for that everywhere. Where did you find it?" And the person holding the sign just smiles and says, "I created it." Because that's what needs to happen. We need to essentially, at the bottom of it all, at the end of it all, create our own happiness. Because someone else can try to make us happy all they want. But if we're not in the right place to accept it, if we think they're not doing it the way that they should in order for us to accept it, we're still not going to be happy. Yet the other people are trying to make us happy, but it's just not working because we're not accepting it for whatever reason. And again, not inferring that any of it is right or wrong. It's just a fact. But if we're open and we're ready, then sure, we can accept happiness as a result of what other people do, but essentially it started with us being open, with us wanting to feel happy, with us looking at things from that perspective, expecting to feel happiness as a result, or despite, no matter what. And this taking on other people's energy as our responsibility is what starts to drain us. And I'm not talking about, obviously, if you have kids, our kids are our responsibility, but that's a different type of conversation, a different type of responsibility, I think. It's setting a boundary to know that you're really only responsible for yourself at the end of the day. You can do all you want to help other people. That's okay. That's encouraged. But to internalize it, to make it your responsibility, like it's something you have to do, it's just going to drain you. It's going to take all of your energy, and then you're not going to have anything left for you. And I hate to use a cliche, but you can't pour from an empty cup. So you have to still take care of yourself, and ideally take care of yourself first before you go out and help anybody else. But you also can't make it your responsibility to fix anybody, to heal anybody. They have to want to do it. And I know I've brought this up before. It's always that same idea. If you go back to someone who's addicted to anything, you can force them into rehab all you want, but it's not going to stick until they're doing it because they want to do it. It's not that you can't help them or nudge them or try to lead them a little bit, but until it's 100% actually their decision, that's why people relapse, because it probably wasn't fully their decision in the first place. They were doing it for somebody else. And while that can be a good catalyst, at the bottom of it all, it has to be their decision. And it's the same with anything else. Everything we do has to start with us. It can't be purely for or because of other people. That's when people get stuck in jobs, or they get stuck in areas of life. They get stuck in relationships or areas where they don't want to live, or wherever someone feels stuck. You're usually stuck because you're giving too much power to somebody else. You're doing something simply for somebody else, when if it were, well, it is always up to you. But if you realized that it was fully up to you, you know deep in your soul you don't really want whatever it is that's keeping you stuck anymore, but you're still doing it because you think you need to do it for someone else. Once you can break out of that, then that's where real happiness and real change can start to develop. So it's not about saying that we shouldn't help anybody else or that it's wrong to help anybody else. It's that you're not supposed to take it on as your responsibility. You can only do so much for other people. Like, I can't just go up to somebody and force Reiki on them because I think they need it. If they're not open to it, they don't want it, they're not willing to accept it, then it won't do anything. So rather, I prefer people to come to me and say, I would like to do a Reiki session with you. I'm ready. And then we can help each other. So this is kind of a shorter episode, mostly because I hope I've made my point. I hope that it was clear. I hope that it was helpful, and ideally, not meant to be preachy whatsoever, not meaning to call anybody out, but rather that it sparked something that I thought about leaving a comment back, but I don't know that I could have put everything that I said in this podcast into a neatly summarized comment that would have been well received on Instagram. I tend not to get involved in the comment sections. I read them, but I don't get involved in them. Because to go one other step with this, it's kind of like, when you get into the idea of soul contracts, or just simply wanting to try to make someone feel better by telling them that everything happens for a reason. If someone has gone through something particularly tragic, Even if they believe that everything happens for a reason, they probably don't want to hear that right after it happens. Or maybe even for the next few months or even the next couple of years. They can't receive that message until they're ready to receive that message. So you could think that you're helping them by trying to open up their perspective a little bit. But if they're not ready, and they don't have to be ready. So even though you're trying to help, you can't make that your responsibility to make them see things a certain way or to believe a certain thing. Maybe they don't believe in soul contracts. That's okay too. It's, I think, a blend of setting boundaries for yourself and respecting boundaries for other people. There's probably a lot further we could dig into this, but I'm going to leave it there. If you have anything you would like to add or share, please go ahead and jump into the Energy Within Facebook group. Or if anything resonated with you in this episode, please share it. Go ahead and do a screenshot or a screen flow. Share it to your social media, tag me, and let me know what stuck out for you. We are just about in the middle of the 30-day chakra challenge right now. I'll throw it out there. If you want to jump in, you still could. You'll have a little bit of catch up to do, but each session that we've done is very short, roughly 5 minutes for each. So you could essentially catch up somewhat quickly. I imagine I'll probably run something, either this or something like it in the future. Not next month, probably not the next one either, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted on what becomes with this challenge, what the experiences are. So far, it's been going amazing. So I can't wait to see what the end of the 30 days brings. And of course, I always welcome you to come do a one-on-one Reiki session with me, or you can go ahead and book an oracle card reading. You can do all of that on the website, carriejokala.com. And let's see what kind of transformation we can bring about for you and make 2022 a great year for you. Thank you so much, as always, for listening, and I'll see you next time.